It's been on, well, quite the roller coaster lately, hasn't it?
Exactly. Big swings up, then down. It can look pretty confusing if you're maybe newer to investing.
That volatility is key, based on what these sources say. It reacts strongly to news, to hype.
Right. So our mission here is to cut through that noise. We're looking only at what these specific sources tell us about the recent moves,
Trying to make sense of the catalysts, the drivers.
distilling it down so you get a clearer picture of what's been happening and, importantly, why, according to these reports.
Isolating the signals from the noise, basically. What do these articles point to?
And it gets really interesting looking at the past month or so. Let's start with the positive stuff. May was, well, pretty remarkable for Tesla stock, wasn't it?
Yeah, the sources highlight a really big surge. One article mentions shares climbing over 23% just in May.
23% in 1 month. That's huge, especially when you compare it to the broader market.
Right, the S&P 500 gained maybe 5.5% in the same time. So Tesla was way out ahead.
And this was after a rough start to the year, yeah.
Exactly. Sources remind us it was down, what, over 40% at one point? So May was a big recovery, though still down year to date back then, maybe 14%, according to one source.
Okay, so what drove that powerful May rally?
A couple of key things. One was Elon Musk's stated focus. He stepped back from some other things, said he'd allocate far more time to Tesla.
So the market liked hearing the CEO was doubling down on the core business.
Seems like it. Investors see his focus as a potential catalyst, maybe reigniting innovation or pushing key projects forward. Belief in his direct impact.
Got it. What else fueled that May optimism?
A huge one, maybe the main one, was the buzz around the Robotaxi launch.
The Robotaxi sounds very futuristic. What's the potential there, according to the material?
Well, the sources call it a potential game changer, a transformative opportunity. The idea is this new high-margin subscription revenue.
So not just selling cars, but earning recurring money from them.
Precisely. Like a high-margin software service, which investors love. And there were reports citing unnamed sources about a possible June 12th launch in Austin.
And didn't Musk add to that excitement?
Yeah, one source notes he said tests were a month ahead of schedule. That, plus the rumored date, really amplified the hype.
Okay, Musk refocusing, Robotaxi anticipation. Anything else boosting the stock in May?
Yes, one source points to the energy business megapacks, Powerwalls, calls it an underappreciated growth engine.
Energy storage. Is that becoming significant?
Looks like it. Sources mention triple-digit growth in deployments in 2024, continuing strong into Q1 2025, and crucially, gross profit from it increased significantly.
So more profitable, not just more sales.
That's the key takeaway. It's becoming a real earnings contributor, maybe even boosted by demand for AI infrastructure support.
Interesting link to AI. And finally, there was talk about Musk's pay package vote.
Right. The vote was June 13th. But reports before then showed strong shareholder support. Sources saw this as confidence in his leadership and future plans, adding maybe some stability.
Okay, so that's the positive story. CEO focus, Robotaxi hype, booming energy biz, shareholder confidence. But stocks go both ways. Let's talk valuation and risks.
Absolutely. Despite the optimism, the sources flag some big cautions. First off, the valuation itself.
What do they mean by high valuation?
Well, the PE ratio was noted as being over 200, meaning investors were paying over $200 for every $1 of recent profit. That's extremely high.
And that implies what? Massive future growth expectations?
Yeah, exactly. You're not paying for today's profits. You're betting heavily on huge growth way down the road, especially from things like Robotaxi that aren't major profit drivers yet.
So a lot of good news potentially already baked into the price.
That's one view presented, that the May rally might have already priced this news in, making it more of a hold than a buy after that run-up based just on that momentum.
Makes sense. Now, about that exciting Robotaxi, any reality checks mentioned?
Yes, and this is crucial. Sources point to Musk himself, saying it likely won't be a major financial contributor until middle of next year, second half of next year.
Okay, so the big money isn't immediate.
Right. And the initial launch, if it happened June 12th, would start small, only a handful of cars. It takes time to scale. Valuing it now is tough, an art and science, sources say.
Vision's exciting, but profitability is further out. What other big risks? The sources mention Musk risk quite a bit.
Yeah, this is a major unpredictable one. It's about his actions or statements outside Tesla impacting the stock. Specifically, a public conflict with former President Trump in early June.
How did that affect the stock, according to these sources?
The sources directly link Trump's criticism and talk of potentially stopping government contracts to a huge stock drop. Over 14% on June 5th, losing about $150 billion in market value.
Wow, $150 billion wiped out in a day due to a political spat. That really shows the risk.
It absolutely does. Shows how sensitive the stock is to his public persona and government relations. While it recovered partly, uncertainty remained. It's a clear, hard-to-predict risk.
A unique challenge for investors. Any other business headwinds mentioned?
Yes, slowing sales in some key European markets, Germany, Italy, UK, were reported for May.
And EV sales are still the core business, right?
They are. Sources say 72% of revenue. So even with future hype, a slowdown in core markets is a current challenge, adds complexity.
So putting it together, it's a stock trading on the future but facing present realities and, well, volatility.
That's the main takeaway. Very high volatility, big swings based on sentiment, future hopes, reality checks like the Robotaxi timeline, and unique things like the Musk risk.
So based just on these sources, what does this mean if you're looking at Tesla?
Well, the sources outline this core tension. On one hand, exciting future potential. Robotaxi's high-margin promise, the booming energy business, Musk's focus.
A compelling story that justifies the high price for some.
It is, but balanced against big risks. The very high valuation, Robotaxi profits being over a year away, the unpredictable Musk risk shown by that huge drop, and core business challenges like slowing EV sales in some places.
So betting on an amazing future, but navigating present, sometimes sudden risks.
Exactly. And the sources suggest different approaches based on this. Short term, high volatility means maybe watch from the sidelines, be conservative, too much event risk.
Wait and see.
That seems to be the caution for the short term. Medium term, maybe hold or buy on dips if Robotaxi shows real progress and the profit picture gets clear. Give the vision time.
And long term.
For those seeing Tesla as a broader tech leader, AI, robotics, energy, steady investment might be the strategy, betting on that big vision. But even then, sources say monitor competition and regulation closely.
Sounds like understanding Tesla means grappling with huge potential and huge, unique risks. A real balancing act.
Precisely what these sources convey. Weighing tangible progress like energy against future visions like Robotaxi, all while dealing with a high valuation, core market challenges, and that unpredictable Musk factor.
It really does. And it leaves you with a core question. How much is that incredible potential worth when it comes with such clear present risks and volatility, including those political headwinds? That's the tension to think about.